Do you think so let's switch to something else. Is what he's how do you assess the success of what he's doing from a military and a political perspective? Has he miscalculated? What's the situation on the ground in the Ukraine? How are the Ukrainians resisting? How are other countries responding? Like, what's the situation in your estimation?
So I'm going to lead by saying the Russian military is so much stronger than the Ukrainian military writ large that the odds remain high that the Russian military will be able ultimately to overwhelm the Ukrainian defenses and take control of Kyiv and so forth. I don't want to offer an optimistic take here because we're still early days in this war and the power imbalance is just so great. But that having been said, I would never have expected to be sitting here 4 days into the Russian military operation with Russian troops just messing around on the outskirts of Kyiv, just finally getting into Kharkiv and struggling all up and down them. I would never have expected that to happen, except that we did expect it to be a mess when they tried to do an invasion with the force packages that they had put together, especially those that are attacking Kyiv and Kharkiv. So a few things have gone on. One is this was a stupid way of preparing for an invasion if you were serious about an invasion. I give you all.
In what way? Give some details. I think that'd be interesting.
So here's the thing. Mechanized maneuver warfare is a very complicated undertaking.
Logistically.
Well, yes, logistically, but even more than that in terms of command and control. When you are a commander and you've got multiple battalions, mechanized battalions moving down multiple axes of advance, sort of driving down different roads to different targets rapidly. Keeping track of all of that is very hard. Understanding what they're doing is very hard. Figuring out how to support them is very hard. They need artillery support. They need air support. They do need logistics support. You need to tell them what to do as they get to or as they run into problems. It's a lot of burden on a commander to keep track of a lot of subordinates. So the solution for, as long as there's been mechanized warfare, is that you build forces where you never have more than 2 or 3 or maximum 4 direct subordinate units like that. So battalions get grouped into regiments or brigades, which are at the same echelon in an organizational structure. And there will be not more than 4 maneuvering battalions or mechanized battalions within a mechanized regiment or a mechanized brigade. And then brigades and regiments get grouped into divisions. So there's not going to be more than 3 or 4 brigades or regiments in a division. And then the divisions are grouped into larger organizations. And this is the way the US military is organized, and it's the way the Russian military is organized formally. But the weird thing is that when they put these masses of forces into Belarus and into Western Russia that are now attacking Kyiv, and when they built up forces opposite Kharkiv, they didn't move entire regiments or brigades, let alone entire divisions. They pulled individual battalion, what they call battalion tactical groups, BTGs. They pulled individual BTGs from all across Russia. The guys in Belarus actually came from 10 or 15 different regiments and brigades in the Russian Far East.
And did they do that to not weaken those divisions and brigades where they were already located?
No, because all the stuff in Belarus is coming in a place where the Russians don't need to worry about. The Chinese are not invading the Russian Far East, so the Russians could have taken whole regiments or brigades from the Far East if they'd wanted to, and they didn't. I can offer various technical explanations for why they might not have. But the point is that they put together what we're calling just sort of collection of cats and dogs of battalions wung together from a whole bunch of other parent units, not organized coherently, even on the spot, as far as we can tell, into clear regiment, brigade structures and all like that. And then they just sort of told them, go down, drive down the road and go take Kyiv. Okay, that gets you the kind of mess that they have now, where they individual battalion tactical groups drive down and then they get stopped, but then there's not a good coordination so that there's not an immediate other battalion that can take over and flank and keep the attack moving. There are all kinds of ways of dealing with the defenses the Ukrainians are putting up, and the Russians are not using them. And I think that has a lot to do with the organization of the Russian forces. It was just crazy as an organization for a mechanized operation like this.
And then Putin assumed that just brute force numbers in some sense would overcome that.
Possibly.
That disarray in organizational structure.
Possibly, but I think another answer goes to your second question. The Ukrainians are fighting like lions. They are fighting like heroes. It's unbelievable the determination with which I thought they would fight. I mean, I know Ukrainians, and I thought that they would fight. They are fighting hard and effectively. I'm certain that Putin did not expect them to.
Okay, so he's having a lot more trouble locally than he might have expected for a multitude of reasons.
Right.
Poor organization to begin with, which seems in keeping with the notion that the troops were put there as an intimidation rather than as a reliable military force for an invasion. Yep, sure. All of this is provisional. And also the Ukrainians are entrenching and fighting back with a ferocity that was unexpected.
To him,
they have more to lose in some sense than the Russians have to gain. So that's always dangerous. That's a dangerous inequality in morality in warfare, and that's not to be underestimated.